What is up, guys? It is Joe back again talking about the Kansas State Wildcats. And in case you missed the last video, before I get into today's, the background's different. I'm in the process of moving, so things are going to get, they're going to get ironed out as we continue along. So that's why it looks so different behind me. So quick getting that out of the way here. Guys, we have a heck of a game to talk about from this week. Kansas State with back-to-back shutouts from the defense. Obviously, you give up 3 last week, but what a performance by Kansas State this week against Houston, getting a 41-0 shutout win over Dana Holgorsen and the Cougars. It was a great one, and we'll have a lot to talk about in this episode, but I do want to tell you guys this because I haven't been doing a great job of doing it the last couple of episodes. Go ahead and consider subscribing if you're a K-State fan, if you're interested in watching the football team, basketball team, if you're interested in hearing any of my comments. I post videos just about every week talking about Kansas State athletics, and it's a huge thing to have you guys along and get to interact with you guys talking about the team we all love. So I wanted to get that out of the way real quick. But guys, let me jump into this game. It's one thing to talk about the quarterback situation, and I will here in a second, but let me give the love to the defense. How about the defense? Oh my goodness. Obviously, Houston isn't Texas. They aren't Oklahoma. They aren't Kansas. They aren't Oklahoma State, whatever you want to say. But they kept a really sneaky good Houston team to 0 points. And I know that you might be laughing if you're not a K-State fan or saying, look at this guy trying to gas up Houston, whatever the case is. They have some really solid playmakers. Donovan Smith's been on a tear. The guy threw for basically 400 yards at Texas and was within 1 score of winning that game. If they get a better spot on a 3rd and short, they've got a legit chance at winning that game against Texas. But it was an absolute awesome performance. He had guys exploding on the scene. Getting a guy like Austin Romaine back in the lineup was huge for the defense. And then you had Will Lee, even though he wasn't 100%, he's out there. You see Jacob Parrish still kind of coming off his injury. You had some really great play from a lot of good dudes on the defense side of the ball and some pass rush. I mean, that's the biggest thing. Like, Donovan Smith got us a couple of times in that Texas Tech game last year. I mean, Chris Klieman talked about it. They were able to really scheme against Houston and made it work incredible. So hats off to the defense. Hats off to Kobe Savage getting the secondary in order, getting the guys figuring it out. Marquis Siegel continues to be an impressive player. I mean, the guy has stepped up every single week, and he's really taken on a way of, that Josh Hayes of what you had last year, a guy like that. Same thing with Keenan Garber. In a different way as a corner, I mean, you got to think about it. The guy transitioned from a receiver to a corner less than a year ago. I mean, in the Sugar Bowl was his first time playing corner in a Big 12 football game. And you're playing Alabama. I mean, that's ridiculous. That guy's been getting better every week. He's had some big breakups, and it's good to see Keenan Garber take steps forward. But let's talk about the offense. It's what everybody wants to talk about. It's what everybody's ready to talk about. Let's talk about that. This performance from Will Howard was electric. It was incredible. It was any adjective you want to think of, that's what this was. Will Howard went out there and said, I think the defense must have amnesia because they forgot I'm him. He said, the world forgot I'm him. Today I'm showing them. This is my team. I'm ready to roll. Avery Johnson, not as great of a day as he's had in the past, did have an early fumble there. It's cold. It sucks dealing with that. I mean, it's just not a situation like quarterback read options. You're going to have issues, but especially when it's that wet, that rainy, that snowy potentially in certain areas. So that's that. I mean, yeah, it wasn't great, but that's a freshman mistake you live with. But the thing is this. Having a guy like Will Howard, who is your veteran senior quarterback, to go out there and hold everything down. I mean, Will Howard was hitting on deep passes that he realistically wouldn't have been hitting earlier in the season. The guy has a new confidence about him. He's holding himself a little bit differently. And I know the immediate, fan reaction is to say, well, Avery Johnson, competition brings the best out of people. I think it is a combination of that mixed with the fact that Will Howard starts, okay, I don't have to force the field down. I don't have to force the ball down the field for us to win. I mean, our defense is keeping people to 0 points, 3 points, 20-plus points. Like, they've had a really great run. And there is a stat I want to mention real quick, and I don't remember where it originated from, so I'll just give love to Tim Fitzgerald because I know he's the one that put it on the radar. Since going down, I think it was 21-17 or 27-24, whatever the case was at that Texas Tech game in the second half, K-State is outscoring opponents 103-3. That's ridiculous. Unbelievable. In the past 2 games, defense hasn't given up a touchdown. 9 quarters, this defense hasn't given up a touchdown. And now all of that momentum, all that energy, all of the best version of Kansas State that you can get, that's the team that's heading on the road to Austin. Not the team we saw in Stillwater that's figuring their things out and still has issues with the receiver core, the quarterback. We got issues here on defense, got issues here. This team is clicking for the first time this season where it's like, we are that team. We are absolutely that team. And Texas, I mean, there's something to be said. Malik Murphy had his first outing as a starting quarterback in Austin. He didn't look great. I mean, he threw a couple of touchdown passes, but it was a lot of what you'd expect to see from a true freshman quarterback where it's quick reads, getting the ball into your hands fast, and then the occasional, nice ball. Like, he had some good throws to Jatavian Sanders, Xavier Worthy, but I feel great about where Kansas State is at heading into this game. I think there's a real opportunity, and selfishly, People won't agree with this. Selfishly, I'm excited about it being an 11 a.m. game because I'm flying to Vegas for that basketball game, and my flight leaves Kansas City at 6:40. So if it was a night game, I would miss a chunk of that game, and I would not be happy about that. So selfishly, I'm excited about it. But guys, that's the performance you want from a veteran guy like Will Howard. If you missed the video, I talked about it with Jareem Dowling, assistant basketball coach for Coach Tang's staff, and does a great job with Kansas State. You know who Coach Jareem is. I'm putting that out there. In case you didn't see the video, go check it out. It was great talking to him. He mentioned it in the last video, and I asked him kind of about the trajectory of where Kansas State football is heading alongside where Kansas State basketball is heading. And he immediately said, hey, you've got two kings at quarterback. Avery's a king, Will's a king. But the thing about Will, you can't put a Big 12 champion on the back burners. You can't put a champion on the back burners. That guy didn't just go away. Will Howard staying the course, staying confident in his abilities, getting the ball down the field, that was incredible. And it's also important to say the majority of that was without Ben Sennett. And I know he was out there for times, but it wasn't, what we'd seen the previous weeks. They were light on him, and you see a guy like Garrett Oakley, a guy like Will Swanson, you see some emergence in the tight end game, which I'm really excited for. But you don't see the Kansas State that you had to see a couple of weeks ago. This is a whole new team. This is a new team with a new energy about them, a new confidence about them, a new swagger, if you will. I mean, this team has a legit shot to get to Arlington for the second straight year. And it all starts here. 100%. It does. I mean, I know there's good things you take away from each game this season getting to this point, but if you look at the standings right now and you see where Kansas State's at, I think everybody takes that. I mean, obviously, the loss to Oklahoma State sucked and the loss to Missouri sucked, but then you look at the scoreboards. I mean, Oklahoma State has the same record as us. They're in a 5-way tie for first place in the Big 12. I'm recording this during the game, so I don't know what's happening there. Last time I checked, it was 17-7. Barring something crazy, they're in a 5-way tie for first place. Then you look at the Missouri game, they're a top 15, top 20 team in the country. It's not that bad of a loss. Even though it hurts a little bit, it's not that bad of a loss. Looking around this team, it is so imperative to me that these dudes are playing for one another, playing together, and playing better than they have all season. Also, if you look at the numbers, this team rivals last year's team. I know it's a different strategy, but look at the rushing attack. How great DJ Giddens and Trayshawn Ward are doing, and they are both doing phenomenal. I mean, honestly, DJ Giddens is one of the top 10 running backs in the country, the way he's looked. It's a little bit different because you have a tandem of two capable guys with Trayshawn Ward, who's also a stud. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to just move on past Trayshawn Ward because he does a heck of a job too. But these guys are running their tails off. O-line is blocking incredibly. This group has become the group that we all thought they would have been at the beginning of the season. Carver Willis is playing great. Christian Duffy's playing great. Everyone on that line, Cooper Beebe. What is there to say about Cooper Beebe that hasn't already been said? I will say this. Mr. Nacho Libre, check out the costume if you haven't. I did that freshman year and it looked nothing like Cooper Beebe's. It was not anywhere near as cool. So Coop definitely went up me on that one. But Cooper Beebe, the guy is an absolute monster. I mean, tossed a grown man onto the back. Said this guy, hey buddy, you're not getting in here. Move. I mean, you're a bouncer, dude. At that point, you were pushing a dude back into the end zone. Absolute pancakes for days. The entire internet sees it and not clowns the Houston defender, but just praises Cooper Beebe for his abilities. This is what needs to be said about Cooper Beebe. He absolutely deserves to be the first lineman in the Kansas State Ring of Honor. Put 50 up there. Put 50 up there. Obviously, you're not going to do it while he's playing right this second, but 50 deserves to be up there. So that is something that, just know I am very, very in favor of putting Cooper Beebe in the ring. There's not really an argument, and that's not really taking a stance about it, but Coop deserves it. For everything he's done for Manhattan, for everything he's done as a player, as a person, he deserves to have that honor, and I think he will, in all honesty. But guys, we're continuing to see this team roll. We're continuing to see them get their footing under them, get things going forward. It feels great to see where the team's at. And you look around the rest of the league, things are shaping up for another Kansas State run. Oklahoma loses to KU. I was actually cheering for KU in that game, but that was a weird situation because whoever loses, you're like, yeah, okay, great. Whoever wins, you're like, whatever. That was a good win. Kansas is a good football team, so don't let that just go away under the back burners where it's a take them for granted and say, we'll just go out there and control it. If you win this game at Texas, none of the games, there's games on the schedule that you'd normally say, we win that 9 out of 10 times. Every single game, it's going to be getting the Super Bowl from that other opposing team. Because Kansas State, not only are they defending the champions, but they have a shot to go back and do it again. You think about the Kansas game. I forget who else we played the back half. Iowa State, I believe, is in there. And maybe Baylor or West Virginia. I forget off the top of my head. Somebody's in the back half. I can't really think about the schedule right now while I'm on this topic. But there's going to be insane performances the rest of the season. The Big 12 is one of the most, volatile leagues, I would say, in the country. Anybody can win on any given day. So seeing Kansas State find some consistency and hit their stride right now is huge. I'll give you my prediction because I'm not big on the pregame show thing. I don't want to give you a full roster breakdown of Texas or do something like that. It's not my speed. There's also people that do a much better job than I could. However, they're a good team. They're a great team. Say what you want to do. Kansas State legitimately has a shot to win this game. And I think when the line comes out, it's going to be less than a 5-point spread. I could maybe see Vegas putting it at 5.5, but what I saw from Malik Murphy, what I saw from that sideline, they were stopped multiple times on goal line stands by BYU. And BYU is a solid unit, but definitely not, the upper echelon of teams. But what I like about Kansas State is they're playing together. They're playing hungry for the first time this season. They're playing with energy and passion. You haven't seen that this season. You are starting to see it every single week. Obviously, you saw it a little bit against TCU. I don't want to just sugarcoat that or move past it. But the biggest takeaways for this, Cooper Beebe, Ring of Honor, absolute dog. Will Howard, Avery Johnson situation, understand that there's going to be weeks where you don't like the outcome. There's going to be weeks where you love the outcome. Whatever happens at the end of the day, if this football team wins, that's what we're all here for. That's what we're all here for. Will Howard had his day today. Went out there and balled 12 completions in a row and looked like the guy we all know he can be. So having him on the team is incredible. Having Avery Johnson, having him there as well is just another look. It's all incredible. DJ Giddens deserves all of his flowers. Trayshawn Ward, the same thing. Offensive line. Defense is a unit. Everything is firing right now, and that's what you want to see happen in Austin when the team takes it on the road. I don't really know what that day is going to look like for me, full disclosure. So I'm flying to Vegas that night, Saturday night, for that K-State USC basketball game. And I'll have some content. I'm not sure what's all going to work out to be. Also, Patrick Gongba, quick shout out, should have mentioned that earlier in the video. Heck of a performance by the fan base. This is what K-State fans are. You guys did an absolute incredible job. All the love shown to Big Pat on the sidelines, him walking out with the prime glasses on. There are so many great things that happened. And I know that it's a football team versus a basketball thing, but seeing the performance that he was there for, seeing the energy that he saw from the fans when it's pouring rain, it's cold, it's sleeting, it's doing everything else, seeing that energy has to be contagious. Seeing him wabash in the stands, that's a huge thing. And I would be shocked if he doesn't end up a cat. Knock on wood, I'm not being that guy that's jinxing it. He's going to do what's best for him at the end of the day. But I think he would be incredible. Having David Castillo here is also just another great thing. And seeing not only just his commitment to the university, but to the program, to the staff, to helping the team develop, get better going forward, it was great to see. So shout out to all of you guys that were out there losing your voices. I appreciate you. The staff appreciates you. Everybody on that sideline appreciates you. But guys, here's the thing. Gongba is also committing on November 4th. So we'll have K-State Texas football game. Pat Gongba commitment. Don't know when that's going to happen yet, but it will happen sometime on that day. Your boy will fly to Vegas. Then you have basketball on Monday. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on there. So I don't know what the schedule will look like yet, but I will say something that week, and I will get some videos out for you either way. But guys, once again, I appreciate you watching. If you enjoyed the videos, please drop a comment. Please like, subscribe. It helps me out immensely, and just getting to build the community a little bit bigger each day is always cool, and getting to interact with you guys is one of my favorite parts each and every day. So thank you guys for all you do. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Go Cats.